All right, today I want to talk about 4 things. The 3 keys to fat loss, how to understand how to calculate your calories per gram, because all the food that you eat comes in what is the weight amount of grams. I want to talk about what a low carb cycle looks like, and then I want to talk about why your lean body mass and your body percent is important to understand. All right, the first thing that you have to understand is the 3 keys to fat loss. All right. You have to eat less than you burn on a daily basis. Every day you burn a certain amount of calories, whether you sit on the couch or not. Exercise increases that amount, but every day there's a minimum amount of calories you burn. You have to eat below that number, okay? That's the key to losing weight. What we want you to understand is body fat, okay? The amount you burn can be increased through things like activity, walking more, being more active, cardio, doing bicycling, jogging, swimming, stuff like that. And lifting weights helps you burn more calories throughout the day. Okay, there's a thing known as EPOC, exercise post-oxygen consumption, meaning your body consumes more oxygen after you lift weights. The reason why is your muscles require oxygen as fuel, like gasoline. So throughout the day, your muscles will burn more calories. That's why lifting weights can be so beneficial, or why it is so beneficial. So you have to eat less than you burn. You want to increase the amount that you burn on a daily basis, and then you want to lift so that you're burning throughout the day. All right, hopefully you understand those 3 keys. Next, when you eat food, everything that we measure our food in comes in the form that we know as gram. So 25 grams of carbs. If you look at the food label, that's what you get. 10 grams of fat. All right, so what is a gram? Well, grams equal calories. So if you eat a carbohydrate food, it has 4 calories for every gram that you eat. So 10 grams would be 40 calories. Protein, 4 calories for every gram. 10 grams would be 40 calories. Fat is very high, so it's 9 calories per gram. So if you ate 10, it would be 90 calories. That's why fat's so tricky. It's not that it's bad for you, it's just very high in calories. And then alcohol is actually 7. So alcohol is actually very high in calories as well. So if you drank some beer, and it had 10 grams, it would be 70 calories, all right? So they add up very quickly. All right, so once you know how to calculate these numbers, you have to understand why it applies to this, because you need to eat to what you burn. All right, take it back for a second. There is no one best diet. The best diet to achieve your goals is either eat less than you need if you're trying to lose weight, eat more than you need if you're trying to gain muscle, because more will be used as fuel. Now, different foods have different uses in the body. Protein is used for building muscles and doing repairs on structures known as your bones, your ligaments, and your tendons. It helps to build, like putting down better roads. So if you drive on the road and it's a crappy road, if you repaired it, it would be better. Carbohydrates are used for fuel. Fat is used for many things, and those who are currently trying to do a keto diet, when our body goes into ketosis, it burns fat as that fuel source, but you have to be in ketosis for that to happen. And that can take up to 2 weeks. So just being low carb doesn't necessarily mean you're keto. All right, because if you're not consistently low carb throughout a 2-week process, you don't really get into ketosis. And then alcohol is just alcohol. Your body will burn it off because it has to. All right, what do we generally prescribe as our best diet? Our preferred diet is preferred because it means we monitor carbohydrates. There is no best diet. There is what will you be consistent with that doesn't make you feel like you're starving, but it makes you aware of what you're eating. That's the best diet, okay? Now, we prefer what's known as carb cycling. And the reason we like carb cycling, it means that we pay attention to what our carb intake is. Okay? It also means we can go low, 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 and then have what we call a refuel day so we don't get cranky. The problem with trying to go into ketosis is we have that wall that we hit where our brain starts to get all, we can't focus and we get all hungry and angry, so hangry. This prevents that because it happens at around day 5. A little bit at day 4, day 5, day 6, we start to get into that phase where our body's starting to change. Okay? We want to avoid that. So we do a low carb day on day 1, low carb day on day 2, low carb on day 3, and then we have a high carb day on day 4. Now, generally, we recommend 25% for our low carb day and 50% for our high carb day, meaning 25% of our daily intake is from carbohydrates. We like high protein as well, so we'll do 50% protein, 25% carbs, and then that leaves you with, so 50 plus 25 is 75. That leaves you with 25% would come from fat. That's 100%. All right. Now on our high carb day, where our diet is 50% of our intakes from carbs, we go 50, 40, and only 10% from fat. That's another 100%. You just need to vary what your intake comes from. And yes, technically on a high carb day, your carbs can come from alcohol. Pretty simple, okay? Now you just need to cycle 1, 2, 3, high carb on day 4, and then you go back. 1, 2, 3, and then you go high carb, and then you go back. So a week could be Monday is low carb, Tuesday is low carb, Wednesday is low carb, Thursday high carb. 50% of your intake that day would be carbohydrates. Friday would be back to low carb for day 1. Saturday would be low carb day 2. Sunday, low carb day 3. And then Monday, we're back to our high carb, 50%. And then Tuesday, low carb day 1. And we cycle through that. So there is no specific days of the week. All right. So you need to know what your numbers are because you have to eat below this amount. We have a simple formula, but it requires one thing. You have to understand and know what your body fat is. Okay? Now, if it's 20% body fat or 25% body fat, the numbers aren't going to skew that much. But your body fat percentage times your weight gives you your lean body mass. Your body is made up of 2 things: muscle, lean body mass, and fat. So it's made up of lean body mass and fat. Your lean body mass it consists of muscle, bones, hair, skin, organs, blood, water. Fat is all your fat. Okay? So we want to measure our lean body mass. So if we weigh 100 pounds and our body fat is 20%, that means we have 20 pounds of fat. Okay? If we're 200 pounds and 10%, that means we have 20 pounds of fat. 200 pounds at 20% means we have 40 pounds of fat. Hopefully that makes sense. That's just simple mathematics and using percentages. Then we take, if our 20% is fat, that means 80% is lean body mass, right? Because you have to be 100%. If you're only made up of 2 components and you know one is 20%, the other has to be 80%, right? If one is 10%, the other has to be 90. Another example, if you're 30% fat, you're 70% all the good stuff. Then you simply times this number, which is You weigh 100, 80 pounds of lean body mass. Okay? You times it by 13.8. Off the top of my head, I don't know what that is, but let's say hypothetically, it's 1,400 calories. Okay? Because I don't have a calculator. Okay? If it's 1,400 calories, 25% of 1,400 would have to be what? 50% of that would be what? Okay? Understand? We simply need to figure out what our total is so that we know to eat less, and then we eat at the percentages of that number. Now remember, there is no one best diet. You're simply trying to eat less than you need if you're trying to lose weight. And we prefer this method because it keeps us from getting cranky. It also allows us to have bad food for us. But it means we don't have to be super restricted. We're not cranky. And it allows us to eat and enjoy foods at certain times. Okay? About every fourth day. Now, you can switch up how often you cycle. So you can do a 5-day cycle. Low, 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 high. That's all good and well. And that's more involved than you probably need to understand right now. So we'll just cut it off at that. You might have questions. You probably will have questions. And we'll answer those questions as you need. And we will be doing a nutrition workshop covering this more in depth so that you can go under and understand it even more. And then you can teach your friends and family so they can be healthy as well. For right now, this is all you really need to understand. Eat less than you need because you have the 3 keys. You have to understand how to count your calories or how to figure out how many calories you know or you're eating because you now know. Figure out a cycle that allows you to easily monitor and then know what your numbers are. All right? Pretty simple. There is some confusion to it and we get it, but this is the best explanation we can have for you guys to easily understand this. If you need help with your numbers, we can help you with that. If you need a simple plug in the number chart, we have that for you as well. So let us know. Email, reply to this email, and we'll help you with that. All right, that's all I got today. Thank you.